We have to do that again.
No,
Can I
I
do it
don't
again,
think so.
Garyana?
I don't
Okay.
know. I don't know. I don't think so.
Garyana, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Garyana Youngblood with the Office of Reentry and Justice.
Awesome. Great, thank you. On to item number 2, any public comment under the jurisdiction of this committee that's not on the agenda? Looking around. Don't see any public comment. Great. We need to review the record of action from last board meeting. Is that from, it is August, right? Okay. I'll need a,
I
Motion.
motion to approve the record of action from our August 19th CAB policy and budget meeting.
great, and I second it. No.
Okay, I have a motion by Nicole, a second by Justin. I'm going to take a roll call vote. Nicole,
Aye.
Justin,
Aye.
The months are
motion
running.
carries.
Hey, Gariana, is there like a list of which votes we have to do roll call for versus just everyone?
So the protocol is if we don't have any members online, then we can do the all in favor, say aye. But if we do have members online, then we have to do a roll call vote. I personally like the roll call vote because it's hard for me to tell who says aye, but it's up to, but it's up to you.
Okay, awesome, thank you. All right, number 4 is a very lengthy update from the PPC meeting.
Yes. So we're not actually going to go through each particular document. So we did have our PPC meeting. Chief presented and I gave an overview of what we submitted to CCP. The PPC approved of our recommendations for all 3 and all 2 in reference to the employment recommendations, and the adjustments to the pre and post release for GI, women's services, as well as the west to east transportation. So it will now get moved over to the Board of Supervisors. And then once approved with that, then we'll go into our next phase. There really wasn't too many questions. More of the conversation was understanding the fund balance, how much was left, how much was originally approved, just doing that recap. But in reference to what we uplifted initially, it moved forward and got approved.
Awesome. Great, any other comments, questions? That feels like a win for the subcommittee.
Yes, it was very exciting.
Oh, we just wait for people to draft RFPs and invite us, right?
Yeah, so going down the line, the actually for housing, that RFP is already out. So H3, they went back because Measure X did a housing RFP beginning of this year and already had some approved housing vendors. So they put out another RFP. It's already out. I believe folks have until November 20th to apply. Our part of our funding is within that. So it includes the same other funding options that was available at the beginning of the year. And then there's some additions, which is our funding option, and I believe like 2 more. So that's already went out. I know that Patrice has been in conversation with behavioral health and forensic mental health regarding the mobile van. Who else? They're already putting out the position in reference to the core reentry team.
Cool.
And so pretty much now with these other items, once the employment as well as the pre and post gets approved, then that conversation will start. And those RFPs will be implemented and start being put in place.
Cool.
And then GI, I guess it really depends on
Next week.
that. Yeah, I'm really excited about that. We see the outcome because then we'll come back and then we'll have to figure out as a group how we want to move forward with what was recommended.
Yeah.
I know Garyana sent us the outline from Rachel, but what is her name? God, oh my God, I forgot her name from EHS. Marla invited Chief and I to a meeting. And she was reaching out for feedback, not just from us in reference to the results and what they're going to present at the board. So it's very Cause looking at what they presented and what Rachel presented, I'm really excited about the conversation and kind of see the outcome from that, because that's really going to help us figure out how we want to move forward. And we did uplift some recommendations on, depending on how the Board of Soups go, if they go towards GI or on reference to what EHS did, submitting still how we can incorporate our ideas that we had.
Yeah.
I'm excited that they even asked us to even what our opinion would be. So I really stuck to our outline in reference to like the opinion and the feedback and the gap. So, and I wanted to make sure that you were aware it's an all-day thing. So if
Okay.
it's, I already took off. So if it's something
Okay.
that you can't do, sit there all day.
Yeah, I might pop in for just public comment.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I'll just have
So
it
just
on
be
in the
prepared
background,
that you,
yeah.
that you're gonna be sitting there. So, I took off to be there. So for, if there's any reason that, you can't, if you just give me, if
Yeah.
I can be there to be, I know that that's kind of hard for you to take place. So I just took for it
Okay.
to
Thank you.
represent.
You got me.
I sure do. I got you. I sure do.
Thank
So I need a day off anyway. So
You're gonna spend it at a board of supervisors.
I am.
Any public comment on the CCP meeting?
Ariana, can we share that? I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure Patrice probably have it, but I think it'd be nice if Justin can see that RFP that went out. I don't think he's seen it, that went out through H3. I was very excited when I seen it.
That's-
I was like, look at us, look at us.
Who wrote this summary for the PPC?
I think it was a need, right? Yeah,
This is great.
she's amazing, isn't she?
Did she write our summaries? Okay, awesome. Hearing no public comment, we'll move on to the next agenda item to discuss the survey results from.
And feedback on that, the good thing is we're the first eyes that get to see this. So programs and services haven't seen it yet because they've had to move their meeting. And I'm not sure, is there someone going to present from RJ, or we just have a discussion, Mariana?
Just a discussion, but if you have any questions, then I can take them back to the team. to Get more
I haven't
information.
looked at it yet, Justin, so I'll look at it.
So then just reading through, I think we can discuss in live time. So it looks like the majority of participants are from West County or are in custody in West County. Pretty good distribution of waiting, trial, and sentenced. Great diversity of ethnicity and race. All women or females, which we prioritize this time around. Looks like the majority of people are between the ages of 26 and 45. And we're looking at now question 6, which of these following health conditions do you live with? Poor mental health is the highest. And they could check any or all. So there may be duplicates of people
Okay.
representing multiple data points here. Interesting that none of the above is
Right.
pretty high as well. And the options were chronic illness, poor mental health, alcohol use, or drug use. Great that they were honest about drug use. That's nice. Keep going. Following disabilities you struggle with, physical challenges, learning challenges, or none of the above. None of the above are highest, but learning challenges represented about 35% of the population. What region of the county will you be returning to? It's pretty diverse, except for,
West and East, huh?
what is that, central?
Yeah, and East is highest by just a couple of,
Yeah.
that's interesting, okay.
And what do you need after release? Employment and housing, surprise, surprise. Followed by income and public benefits, transportation. I feel like we've addressed all of these. This is great. Do you have any concerns about returning home? What concerns? Income, benefits, housing, transportation, maintaining basic needs. Great.
So the reason why I was excited to see this is because once the Board of Supervisors approve our amendments,
Mhm.
then we'll start structuring our, around the women and gender services.
Mhm.
So I really wanted, for myself, I really wanted to see if anything changed based on the data that we got last year, even though majority of the results were from men
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah,
Did it still kind of coincide with what we already have, which it does.
yeah,
So
that's great. I would be curious to, I know we can't do follow-up questions with them, but as we like iterate on these surveys, it'd be fascinating to know, like, are people already receiving public benefits and they're concerned because of their case that they may not then be eligible, or like, what is the concern behind the public benefits?
we can give recommendations to programs and services around their survey questions if we like.
Okay,
So if there's anything in addition, we can.
yeah. But I think for the most part, this all just aligns with
Mhm.
what we have identified.
Good.
Do we know how many women or females are in custody across the county in total? Any idea?
Mhm.
No.
That would be a request that would have to be submitted to Jody.
Yeah, I was just curious if there was, a
Yeah.
lot, like, are we talking tens or hundreds?
I think several, we've asked that question several times where it's been asked that it's a reference to demographics.
Yeah.
So that has to be.
Okay, well, I think this is really great information, will help us when we're crafting our recommendations. The learning challenges is interesting to me as well. We didn't really address any kind of reinvestment or further investment in education support while in custody. We were doing more.
So that was one of so there's a couple of items that we had as new items when Ozzy was chair that I bullet pointed. So when we have our next cab, retreat
Uh,
to move into next year,
yeah,
because it wasn't part of our recent recommendation. So outside of the women gender services, it was the Spanish speaking about the language.
yeah.
Education was something that Ozzy was focused on. So I did try to make a note so that we don't forget, so that when we go into the new year, to finalize these items that we're working on now,
Yeah.
and then look at those new things so that they're not pushed aside. So I think it's good that we did get this result,
Yeah,
because then that could be something that we uplift and recommend to start focusing on. And now we have someone on the board that is part of education and right scholars
yeah.
that we can now pull from.
That's
So I'm
great.
really excited about next year because we get to tackle it, but I didn't want to add
Yeah,
anything more to what we already had. So I think that will be something for us to kind of note down and think about next year. Um,
awesome. Any other comments?
No, I'm just ready for the Board of Supers to stamp approve it so we can get some, so we can get moving on it. But
Right.
no, I was just really anxious about the results.
Yeah.
And I am excited about the income public benefits, because again, depending on how they vote, it might tie into one of the recommendations that is getting pushed forward
Yeah.
that will already include that.
It's great.
So it might tie into what we already made.
We're ahead of the game.
We are.
Any public comment or staff comment? Thanks for putting this together, Gariana and team. This is great.
At least this time I paid attention, because the full board, I don't know where my mind was.
I know it takes a lot of work to get that stuff distributed and collected, so thank you.
Good job. Thank you, Gary.
All right, next item is the CAB policy and budget recommendations for 2024. So this is our recommendations for last year.
Mhm.
We traditionally do this on an annual basis. The one thing that Jill called out on Thursday is to ensure that we have the COLA increase included in the budget, but the COA's office is asking us to keep the same baseline amount year over year. I'm definitely an advocate of keeping the COLA increase in line with whatever staff or department increase is received. And then I am comfortable with leaving the budget the same way it is, especially because we were able to allocate those additional funds
Mhm.
to
I
get
agree.
spent out over the next few years. So I think that gives kind of a boost to this budget, even though it's not an ongoing allocation.
Okay.
You feel?
I'm in agreement with that as well. Jill, do we know if we got any update for the COLA from Anit?
Sorry, I'm here. There was a very, very large car driving, very noisy car driving by. I didn't want to go off pause. I didn't hear from Anit on that. I know in the past that's just been baseline. I mean, that has been included in the baseline. There's a accelerator based on, so I would presume that there will be that in there, but we do need to get confirmation from Anit.
Okay.
Great, thank you. Ariana, when does this document need to be filled out and sent back to you?
So Patrice usually, was here, go ahead.
Great question. I was gonna say, Nicole, great question. I do not know, but I can get back to Patrice and ask and then follow up with the subcommittee once I have the information.
So usually in the past, we usually just update the document.
Yeah,
And then if we go with baseline or if there's any adjustments, then Patrice usually fills this out and then give us a copy of it.
oh, Patrice was,
Uh-huh.
okay,
But we usually just kind of feedback to her based on our conversation,
Got
if
it.
there was any adjustments. So since we're not gonna do any adjustments, we recommend that RJ just go back with the baseline, then this most likely will stay the same. And when it comes to this document, there are no additional recommendations because our focus have been on the AB 109 Access Fund. So it pretty much is just going through and making updates. Because last year, we kind of talked about what we wanted to do, and now we've pretty much done it. So I guess update where we feel like it's needed, if there is anything in here to change. So let's, because we split it amongst, it was me and you.
Mhm.
Um,
I mean, I think that,
is there anything we need to change on it?
I mean, I think CCP knows what our priorities are based on the $15 million recommendation.
Right.
I think we could put a cover letter on top of this and just like really significantly reduce this document
Okay.
and say, over the past, 12 months, and I'm happy to write this up, has spent, engaging with departments and community-based organizations to understand where the gaps are, which led to an investment and prioritization of dollars in these 7 categories.
I think go right at you the chair.
I said I don't know why you're writing it
I
down.
was just messing with you because I like to make a note so I don't forget. I am happy with relaxing.
So then, Gariana, if you're able to get me a timeline to write that up, I'm happy to do that, and then we can bring it back to the full board for approval. Maybe I can draft it and send it to Nicole and Jeffrey for review, and then we can bring it to the next full board. Is it great?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Cool.
And just to prepare you with, also with the timeline, is normally when we, I know we're supposed to have it ready for CCP for November, and then it goes in front of the, it's CCP, then PPC, and in front of the Board of Soup. So, just know for November, December, we'll both be like on the meeting via Zoom.
Yeah.
Recommendations, I'll turn it over to you and you kind of read that. So that's been the flow for it.
Cool.
So.
That's great. All right. Any staff or public comment on this item?
I like this.
So then the next step, Scariana, would be having Patrice know that we want to keep everything the same with regards to last year, but inclusive of a COLA increase, and make sure that that's explicit. So CCP can include it even if they were not going to. And then based on the timeline, I'll draft a new cover letter for this document to share back out with the subcommittee, hopefully for the full committee approval. Great. All right, no public comment. We can move to the next item, which is our work plan. This is something that I feel like we've just punted around for a few years, couple of years. And I think that it might be helpful to revisit completely. And just make it more explicitly tied to what we want to do over the next 12 months. I feel like when I read this, I don't feel really connected to it.
Okay.
And I want it to be a little more tangible, if that makes sense.
Yes. So can I
Um,
make a recommendation?
Yeah,
Since it's already end of the year, we can, it's too late in the game to change it, meaning the.
this is from 2023 too.
I know, so I sent her the updated one. This is not the current one.
Nicole. I blame Nicole, Garia.
So we do, Gary, did you get my email with the last one from the? We had to go search and find it. That
No.
I sent out Friday.
No, I thought you told me to pull it from the old agenda, and this was the one from the old agenda.
I went and grabbed. No, I just think it hasn't been updated because we went through it at our last meeting. And we went through and made some changes. So I just think that it's not the changes that we recommended are not on here.
This is Lenita.
I know, so we went through the document and we made changes, so it hasn't been updated from our last conversation, because we did look at this before Ozzy left. So we removed Anita, we went through, like, for example, we made some adjustments to, so that top was supposed to be changed to 2024. We went through this document. I
Yeah.
just don't think the changes have been made to it.
Okay.
Um,
Are you recommending that we do this for calendar year 2025?
Well, yes,
instead of
well.
doing it for this year?
Well, we need to get the 2024 updates on here. That does need to be adjusted. I know we went through it line by line. My recommendation was to get it current for 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And then the AB 109 retreat is coming up. We
Mm-hmm.
may have new members. It's like I told all the other new members is at that point, yeah, rip it apart and start over.
Yeah.
Because all of the work plans look like this for all the committees. So I think it's a good idea if we start fresh in the new year and having all these great new inputs and ideas. And like you said, make sure that everyone can connect to it,
Yeah.
but just pull this one out. So,
Okay. Do you think you have the one that was edited or no?
that's what I'm looking for, because I was looking on Friday. If I can find my notes, because I never went back and changed it. So Ariana, when we make adjustments, do we change it or would you change it?
I can change it and then send it back out to the subcommittee.
Because I can tell you exactly what I did. I made notes, but I didn't go back and change nothing.
Okay, yeah. Well, if you let
That
me
was-
know the changes, I could add them and then send them back out to the committee.
Okay, because that was our meeting that we had, it was in June. We went over all this stuff and I did not go back and make the changes, so. So at the very top, it would be changing to 2023 to 2024. And I think for us, nothing had really changed because our sole focus for the year was A19 access funds. When we wrote this, our focus was on that. But we took away Lenita from the responsibility and it was just everybody. And I've been joining it, so you can actually put my name there. I've been joining all the meetings. And if any of you guys want to join, you can, but I've been joining and bringing back the information. So for the second For the second section where it says collaborate with programs and services, you can remove Lanita and then put me. And I believe we had took off that third one. No,
We did.
we did, okay. So third bullet, you can remove that.
The third bullet in the section that says identify gaps, or the third bullet, or the third,
The
or the
third
se-
row.
The third row, I apologize, undergo one.
Okay, got
See, I
you.
remember, I just didn't do it.
Mhm. And I think in the first row, you could put complete instead of ongoing.
Okay,
Okay, so then goal 2,
Just completed that,
well, we need to do the write-up,
okay.
so that can just stay, right?
Yeah.
We are not reviewing quarterly financial reports. Is this something that CAB's done in the past? Ariana, do you know?
not to my
Review.
knowledge, but I can ask Patrice.
Do you mind? That would be
Yeah.
interesting.
I
So we
think,
do look at overall, but, oh, go ahead, Joe.
I was just gonna say, I think the issue with that was nobody was really, I mean, I was looking at them and the CAO's office was looking at them. So I think the goal was for the policy and budget committee to review them. So as you're, kind of making recommendations, you would know what's being spent thus far instead of being hit with them all at the end of the year when it's budget making
Right.
time.
Got it. That's great.
That's a help one.
That's all done.
That's all done.
So that third row, you could put complete.
The
Still
third
pending
row
account
under
A.
goal 2.
Yeah, what'd you say?
We're still pending account A. So that one's still open.
Oh, never mind. Leave it as ongoing.
So the first two ones are done, but
Check,
consider the
yeah.
information of account A, and we're still pending that.
Could you put check marks in the little boxes on the first two on that row?
Yeah.
Do you want to
Or
expand
smiley faces?
based on the feedback that the chief gave in reference to really looking at the results from CalAIM? I know that CalAIM is doing a map right now. I know they've reached out to Office of Reentry and Justice and other providers around the services to kind of figure out how they want to tie in current reentry services or if they want to implement. So I know that they're doing a service map right now, so it's not completed. So once they complete that, that may help you all kind of figure out.
Yeah, we can invite them to present.
I don't know if you get yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they'll show up.
This is detention health. Why not? They showed up before, didn't they? Okay.
ORJ has pull.
I know. So I guess for that one is really pending the outcome of the service map.
Yeah.
Really help and then that may not come into next year, so y'all may want to expand on that.
Right. So this is ongoing too. That's part of the,
Oh, I feel like
Programs
we
and
said
services.
completed. Took this one off for some reason, that we done it.
I mean, programs and services do that, don't, they're not, or not outreach and.
Expenses for balances of unspent. This
It's
one,
like
the
all
unspent
the-
funds rolling over to next year?
Mhm.
No, they don't. They just do outreach.
All the ambassador,
Include best practices for the balance of unspent funds rolling over. But it doesn't include any discussion around the unspent funds.
no, but I mean, these two things aren't connected.
Box.
Read the second one.
I mean, well, so we can say done to that, they weren't until we added it. So
Okay,
based on our work with the 819 access funds, we have now added the county partners to our ambassador, but it was not included originally. That little blurb there is done.
we're not making any recommendations on unspent funds. Do
Right.
we have the authority to do that? I mean, they're all contracted dollars.
Right, so I believe we had to get off
Take
because,
it
yeah, I
off.
think we had to get off.
We can take off the bottom row, Ariana, please.
I would say complete.
But it's not complete because we're not making recommendations. Right? Like, we're not telling ORJ how they should use unspent allocated dollars.
I think it's the way we worded it.
Well, I think that's good, 'cause then we'll redo it
Mhm.
for the next year.
Okay.
Look at that, see?
And we still have time for the meeting we're supposed to attend at 2:00.
What meeting? Oh, the basic income.
Yeah,
Any public comment or staff comment on item number 7? Wonderful, hearing none. Moving to schedule our next meeting. Are you coming to the next meeting?
we're coming to the funds are done, till everything's done.
Okay. Does November 15th work for you? Ooh,
No, Fridays are no go.
and we have cab the day before.
Fridays are a no go for me for work commitment.
You all see that the CCP is scheduled for 10:30 on November 15th, correct?
No, but thank you for calling
No,
that out.
thank you.
Do you want to do Monday at 1?
Wait a minute, let me put this on there so I don't forget. She said at 11, right?
10:30, she said.
10:30, 10:30.
Team,
Mm-hmm.
at what time?
1 to 2:30.
Okay,
What date are you scheduling the next
By
CAB
the
policy?
18th, Ariana,
Gotcha.
pending
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey's availability. So can that be a follow-up? Can you email him and confirm if that date works, Ariana, before we schedule
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, and I also have to check to see if the room's available.
Okay,
Thank you. Oh. Any other questions or comments? Start early, end early. See that, Ariana? We're moving and grooving.
You did great,
All right.
Justin.
good job, Justin.
All right, I think with that, the first subcommittee under my jurisdiction is complete. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.